Yes, I am that I am. I am Saint Germain of Sovereign Domain. Yes, welcome. Thank you for everyone's presence. Thank you for being here during this transmission and through the collective experience of each and every one of us. Uh, yes, thank you for this topic. Thank you for coming together and bringing all these energies and allowing us to transmute what everyone there on Earth seems to be going through at this time. Not everyone, but a lot of people are going through the depression or the feeling of inadequacy, we could say. So we are here with the Ascended Masters, uh, myself, Kuthumi. Yeah, just us two at this time. We're going to keep this simple. Kutumi's going to be in the background, sending a lot of love and setting a surrounding area of love because Kutumi's energy is definitely one of joy. He is one who brings joy and allows your childlike behaviors to come through, not only in your thoughts, but in your physical body and all through other realms and dimensions, whether it's in your dreams or in things that are going through you right now. So, yes, let's just take a collective deep breath here and allow yourself to come in as your masterful self, please. You are all that is, and we are here to support that. Yes.
Yes, yes. 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 Let us pump up the joy a little bit, dear ones, a little bit. Yes, 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 yes. Ah, yes, we
Thank you.
understand. We understand this, the theme that is being spoken of. And indeed, we say, what is the quickest way out of depression? It is to bring the joy. Yay, yay. Woo! Yes, and this is a pump. This is a muscle. And so let us begin here, dear ones. Let us begin here. For we as Ra, yes, we together as Ra, as the ascended masters of love and light that have already gone through, let us say, these sorts of depression processing in episodes and experiences. Yes, many of us have already gone through this, for we understand what a depressed frequency is like. We understand what a depressed, low energy, stagnant energy state is like. And to us, we don't see this as bad. We see this more of as like a cocoon, as like an egg shell. And there is a fetus, there is a beautiful life form that is beginning to grow more, beginning to beautify more within this cocoon. And so, what many experience as depression, what this really is from a bigger perspective, neutral vantage point, it is really you, whether knowingly or unknowingly, have cocooned yourself with so much energy in life because of your interactions with others and how you perceive others, how you perceive yourselves, your belief systems, let us say, are not really allowing this full flowing, vibrant expression of love and light and joy throughout your whole beingness. And so what occurs is the life piles up, as we've said, yes, the cause of all disease, we have said, yes, all dis-ease is the same. The principle is the same. There is a clogging of the energy system in a way because of a lack of flow, because of a constricted belief system. And so when this occurs, you begin to build up life around you. And now when one becomes depressed, really, we will say, because a lot of life has piled up around them and they do not know how to fully process this. And they are beginning to ponder some bigger questions of maybe what is life? What is the meaning of life? Why am I here? What am I doing? What is all of this about? And all of these sorts of deeper questions begin to arise. And those that fall into depression are those that, as these questions arise, they are not moving their life, yes, in this vibrant way. And so the energy begins to stagnate and it leads to a very condensed state. And at times, yes, cocooned state where one is very disconnected from their external reality and internal reality and are rather in a sort of limbo state, let us say, or a cocoon state where one begins to nourish themselves through what is called a depressive state. And again, we will say this is not bad. This is a necessary part of many, many journeys. And this is why both of all of you here present listening are understanding this. And so the journey that one follows through and moves through at times may have depressive episodes. However, it is very important to understand it is temporary. No matter how long it may seem to be going on, it is temporary. And it is your first belief in this, it is your first trust in this, that there is a way of greatness more than this. There's more that I could experience than this depression. That is the first step in creating something greater for yourself. Yes.
And why does it seem to involuntarily go on so long? I remember when I was depressed, I definitely wanted to get out of depression. I recognized it was I wanted to get out of it, and I often wish so many times in that very long time period that I would be able to snap out of it. I asked God for help to be able to get out of it, but it wasn't, it wasn't that easy, and it really dragged on, and it came in and out. Um, I mean, and from the human perspective, years is a very long time. So why does it have to be such a lengthy process?
Yes. Dear Kuthumi or our dear brother Germain, would you like to take a crack at this?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Ra. Thank you, brothers and sisters, Ra, and all the energies that are here. This question is one of the mind. The We'll go back too, because going back to time, the blip of time that actually you exist in throughout your life. It does feel long. A few years is considered long, but when you look back at your entire soul history of all of your lives, how many of those do you think you were depressed in? How many of those had joy within it? How many potentials of your entire life in this one is possible because of the things you've done with your soul self in the past? This is just something to keep in mind throughout as we conversate here. Uh, Depression is definitely the reason why the veil is thicker. We'll say that the veil is much thicker in the line of in depression. The the mind gets in a place where it feels trapped, and that trapped feeling is just an energy stuck that is remaining within itself. If you look at your society and mass consciousness, there's many people who have different ways of getting out of depression. But the crazy thing about the mind and the beautiful thing about the mind is that it wants to convince you that you can't. It's always using the energy of that compression to continually tell you things that keep you within that compression. It is very good. The mind is very good at only using past memories or past ideas and reiterating them over and over and over again. No matter how much you know in your, like, you feel your mind saying to yourself, yes, I really want out of this. Why can't I get out of this? Think about that question for a second while you're sitting in it. If you are depressed and you're saying, why can't I get out of this? You are actually telling yourself to stay there because you don't believe that you can get out of it. You don't believe that there's another way. Now, we're not saying that this is the way for everyone. However, it is definitely a loop where the mind is continually bringing that energy to you instead of allowing your true abundance, your true joy to come in and encompass that depression. It's not that you want to push it away. You don't the way to get out of depression is not to get rid of it, but to sit with it absolutely as it is, because that's your experience at that time. The present moment with that energy, with that condensation, with that compression, it's really good to get in. If you imagine yourself being pulled tightly like an elastic band, you are bringing it even more tight, 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 and bringing all this energy. Eventually, it's either going to snap and you're going to decide to leave this earth and come back and do it all again, or you're going to let go and allow yourself to shoot up to the light. You're going to allow yourself to realize this isn't how I want to spend my life. This isn't, there's something inside of you that just snaps. And the mass consciousness on earth is that you need to have medications to get out of it. You need to do certain things like going to therapy or talking about your problems. Now, there's nothing wrong with this, but it's going to keep you in it. The the idea of going to a counselor to reiterate your problems over and over again that are already in your head, for you to continue to say those things to those people, is just going to continue on that rhetoric. You really, really, really need to allow yourself to come to uh, yourself that knows that depression isn't real. Yet the emotions that you feel are real. They are a real experience. So as time goes on, the collective is going to start to see through people who have gone through depression that there is a way out by allowing yourself to believe there is. And the the beauty of the energy. I'm gonna say beauty because most people will go, oh, how is depression beautiful? Well, it truly is. For it's bringing in an understanding towards yourself, of allowing you to process that energy so that you learn the other side of that energy. There's always the other side of good and bad. There's the other side of depression. There's the slingshot side of the joy. So we're not sure if it's when you're outside of the depression. And as this dear one knows, it's really hard to get out of the depression, only because as you are all angels, you're all dense, you're all light energy, you're all source energy, and to compress that source energy into such a denseness, or as Ra had said, into a yourself into a different metamorphosis later. When the caterpillar doesn't know when it's going to become the butterfly, it just is. It allows itself to go through the metamorphosis and through that energy of change. And each one of you that allows this energy to pass through you, allows this depression to come in and be present, will get beyond it. Absolutely.
Yes, and we will continue
Hmm.
this thread. As we always say, it is a process, and so depressive episodes may last shorter or longer for some individuals. What is important to understand is that the amount of time you dwell inside your cocoon is up to you.
Um, you mentioned something very interesting that I've thought about in my journey, and that is the whole issue with medication. And in my journey with, this illness, I had periodically stopped medication, either to reset the medication or try to get off of it, or at least see how I was to get off of it. So I would always, every few months I would stop the medication, and I'd wind up going, back to the medication because it was that difficult without it. But eventually, I got to a point where I felt that in order to make the progress I wanted to make, it was absolutely essential to stop medication. And for me, the reasoning was because, and in retrospect, I saw this more clearly than I did at the time. At the time, I didn't have such clarity, but basically what I found is being off medication, I was able to deal with the root issues, and the medication, while sometimes it was sort of letting me get by, it wasn't giving me access to the emotions and the thoughts that the depression was really built on. And without being able to access them and deal and process those thoughts and my emotions, um, I wasn't able to actually treat the medication. And as a result, I was just sort of going on. It was letting me get by, but I was never able to actually get out of it and address the underlying issues. So I came to be of the belief through my own process that getting on the medication and I guess the current processes that society is using in the mainstream treatment of this, at least in America, is that it was very important to get off of those and deal with the core issues. As I did it, it seemed like it was a lot of small blockages and some big blockages that were really in different shades. It was actually fascinating to deal with and get into the core of it because it was composed of many shades of different feelings, grief, despair, anxiety, and all the shades in between. So it was actually fascinating, almost like, snowflakes of all these, and you can, beautiful emotions in some way, even though they were painful. And it was as if I was experiencing earlier parts of my life, probably a lot of past lives, and almost revisiting those. But it was important to be off the medication to work through it. I would be curious if the perspectives of Kuthumi, Saint Germain, and Ra, how they feel about this topic and how they see it.
Well, Kuthumi is here to bring joy to this idea. For in your questioning, you actually explained exactly how to do it. You became aware of the non-expansional nature of your energy, and you were able to allow your duality in, because this is where we are on earth. You are able to dualistically look at both sides of it. Awareness allowing you to see what it is you're doing to yourself through that, and you can experience all of those emotions. And yes, we're going to go to Saint Germain with this one, in particular with the SSRIs. Uh, when it comes to
Yeah, absolutely. You know it.
the mind, uh, SSRIs are there to remove the electronic signals moving through the brain and alter the way that the hormones that are automatically already within your body are running. And please, we don't give medical advice. This is what this channel wants to say. But get the hell off those goddamn SSRIs.
That's right. I love
The
it.
the process of going through depression right now is actually a lot different in the energies that are currently there on Earth. The how people are going to, the reason why that there's this hope, right now the world has this hopelessness feeling, and it's the hopelessness that's creating the ideas of depression. And of course depression goes, you already do within your mind, you already are looping through the thoughts, but you're also looping through the thoughts while also looking for other people who are looping through those thoughts as well, so that you can come together as a mass consciousness of depression. This is what you would do naturally with joy. You would do this with joy. If you found yourself in joy, you're going to go and look and think in joy and bring more joyful people to your experiences. So all it's doing is teaching you exactly what to do with other emotions once you find those other emotions, and once you allow yourself to get past the shell, past wall of fire, we like to call it, where it just seems like there's all this around you and you can't get out of it, but you can and you are. And medications are absolutely necessary, yet they are also a hindrance in a way. They are a way for the mind to continue in that loop, but without the ability to be clear and concise with its other emotions. And you answered your own question when you asked it. For as we were listening, we noticed that you went through your own process and talked about how that worked for you. And yes, the awareness comes into play here to realize that there's something watching the depression. There's this soul self that is not experiencing the depression like you as a human are experiencing it, but your soul does not experience any of the emotions that you are going through. They are Your soul is absolutely clean, pristine, and loving source energy. And so that you always have that connection to to us, to source, to the ascended masters, to your guides. That is always there, and that is why you were able to get out of depression. This is what is going to bring everybody out of depression, because everybody is source, and the source connection, the more people that have gone into the hopelessness, into the depression, the more people that get out of it, that energy becomes a mass consciousness. That becomes a part of the consciousness on earth, the ability to get out. And then the ability to realize that you have it all within you and don't need medication to get out of it. Everything is within your soul. Everything is within your higher self, your spirit. You are capable of so much more than what the depression in your mind tells you. The mind, the mind is going to be really good at continuing at giving you just enough to either leave it or stay in it. And so this topic, it affects so many people. We can hear all of the questions. We do have the ascended masters uh are helping more and more right now, because the more people that are coming out of the depressive states realize that they do kind of need help to stay in joy. And so we are here for each and every one of you, and we will always be there for when you decide that you take responsibility for yourself. And then in that responsibility, you will come through the depression in this lifetime or the next. Ra, is there anything you wish to add there? Like, please continue if you wish.
Yes, since the topic of medications has arisen, let us remind all listening, dear ones, all of you are medicine men and women. All of you have the innate chemistry capabilities within you to create elixirs of joy. This is absolutely possible without taking a pill. And of course, you may take the pill. There's nothing wrong with this. It is all about, yes, maybe ensure that it is not too much. It is a nice in between balance for where you are in your journey. And most importantly, dear ones, you are the cure to your own depression. And quite practically speaking, there have been many studies done on how much more effective of a drug, let us say, or prescription that exercise is compared to the common medical prescriptions. Yes, the common drug prescriptions. Exercise is much more effective. And it is free, dear ones. Yes. You just need to get off your tuchus. Hey, that's all you got to do. Yes. And so let us bring it back so we ground it all in and integrate. How do you cure depression? Dear ones, quite simply, you move the energies in an uplifting direction. This is how you cure depression. You must move. And yes, you must move your thoughts. You must move your mind, and you must move your body, because your body is made up of thoughts and is made up of your mind. And so this is important, dear ones. You must move and exercise. If you do not, you will get stagnant and indeed depressed in ways and hopeless in other ways. Indeed, this is all of this, all disease, all dis-ease is all a result of stagnant, non-flowing energies. Yes. And so, as we have said, all you got to do is move them. Yes, you move it. And so how do you move the energies? You, of course, exercise and also you rest. Yes, this is the formula. Yes, you move and you rest. You exercise and you nourish. Yes, you do this. It is a, you could say, in this dual dance reality of duality, there is a ebb and flow. And this is it. You rest in the peace, yes. And then you live and build up your life in the joy, and you do things and you move things. And you do this in this way. And as you do, you will find that you're building a momentum. You're pulling yourself up, you're pushing yourself up, you're shooting yourself up from the hole and ditch that you have dug for yourself so that you can learn just who and what you are, just who and what greatness is. And when you look in a mirror, you will be proud of yourself as opposed to depressed, yes? And so another reason you could say is, why am I depressed? It's because you are not loving yourself enough, dear one. You are not caring for your own body self. And let this be more clear here. You are not loving your own body self enough. This is why you are depressed. And so it is leading to stagnation for you. You feel that, oh, this is not important. I don't need to worry about this. I don't need to do that. This is not important. Yes, this sort of mindset, belief system is what leads all the energies to be into pile up, pile up, pile up, pile up, pile up, stagnate, 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 rot away, rot away, rot away. And of course, there's going to be issues, yes? And so this is it, dear ones. It is this simple. And so you can come back to this in your seeking of the analyzing of what is occurring, what is wrong. However, we wish to remind and redirect, of course, is well, what are the solutions? Yes. And so the solutions are the movement, the nourishment, the meditating. Yes, these are the solutions. So if you are nourishing your body with high vibe foods and great, yes, home cooked meals at times and all of this, great. Are you resting in meditation and really relaxing and releasing? Yes? Great. Are you exercising and moving your body and traveling and exploring your neighborhood? Great. You will not be depressed. You will, it's not possible. And so if you are depressed, we say very practically, yes, do some to-dos on these checklists and you will pull yourself out. And this is important, dear ones, for there comes a point where you must be energized. Yes, you must energize yourself enough so that you realize, oh, I actually want to do this. I understand why I want to do this. Yes, I actually want to move my body in an uplifting direction and interact with the world in this way because it is just more enjoyable for all involved, that simply. So I'm going to take the steps to do that. And so this is what is required, dear ones. It is all on you. And you ask, well, why is it that it's taking so long? It's because you are waiting, dear one. It's because that is why. That is why. And so we are not here to judge or to point fingers. We are here to give you the solution. We're here to pump you up to some more extra energy so you're like, okay, I can do this. Yes, my guides, Ra, Saint Germain, Kuthumi, everyone has pure faith, trust in me. So I will give myself permission to trust and have faith in myself. And let's do this. Let's plan this out. This discomfort I'm feeling because I don't want to do this or that, or oh no, I can't too much. This is just the result of the stagnant energy. So let's get it moving. Let's just do some stretches. Let's do some twirling. Let's do some spinning, dancing, grooving. All of this to get the move energy moving. And then when you reassess your life, you will find, oh, I'm not that depressed anymore. Of course not, dear one. You are moving that depressed energy into a state of joy. Yes, yes, yes.
Wow.
We love this so much. Thank you so much, Ra.
Mm.
Ah. How do you feel about that, Jonah? Is there any other questions in regards to depression? This
Absolutely.
topic is quite large, so
It
um,
is. And I wanted to go a little bit deeper and in a slightly different direction. And this one goes into how the mind operates. And I want to go into the mind, like how it operates in some detail, because I noticed that being depressed, a lot of the thoughts are, why are things so bad for me? What is this like for me? I have all these issues. I can't get out of this. And what I noticed, all those thoughts have in common, it's about me. They're actually very self-centered. They're kind of selfish thoughts, and they're worries and concerns about, what's happening to me as a person, either how it's not been good enough, how it is, what might happen in the future. And I started to notice a theme there, and it touches on, ego-ness and self-centeredness. And I was wondering if you had any perspectives on how that type of thinking relates to the mind, and how that may feed or interact with depression.
Uh, yes, Saint Germain loves to teach about this topic, for it was something he had to master within his last life. So, the mind. There are some misconceptions in society, in the world, or as things are, of how powerful the mind is. And you know what? I'm going to come out as Saint Germain and say the mind is one of the weaker points of who you truly are, and what you use within your existences of all your lives. Earlier, Joni, you said that you believe that you were possibly even processing past life things. You are. You are processing the things and the potentials and the ideas of your past lives in this current life. This current life is the life of your master self. It is the life where you are going to integrate all of your past lives, how many there are, all of your future lives into this present moment, all right now, simultaneously within the multidimensionality of all of the spiritual realms, the non-physical and the physical. For they're not separate. They are here right now. They're all on Earth. All of those realms are all on Earth. It's just that the density that you are holding yourself in within the physical body and within the mind it was created during the times of Atlantis. The mind was in the times of Lemuria, the body that was situated in the biology of yourself, you as a soul being didn't know how to stay within the physical body. You were more floating around. It would kick you out. You would find that there would be things like you couldn't focus on this density, because you as a soul being is a vast movement of energy at the level of vibration that isn't used to this density. This is a very special place on earth, coming down into a soul being, an angelic being, coming into such a tight density. And that density was able to allow, uh, first of all, the body's biology to be created, and then in Atlantic times, the mind. And well, I'm not going to go through the history of Atlantis, but I will say that the times during Atlantis were when the mind was formulated or placed into its box. That's a good one. The When your soul was able to finally sit with and stay there and realize that this is going to be a temporary experience, and within the body, the mind was created to be a place of control. And the thing is that the mind has not evolved. And when we say mind, we're kind of coinciding that not with the brain, but with thoughts and without emotion. There's the movement of mind. And mind is, hold on, we want to get this right through this channel. Mind is a tool of how you're experiencing density. So what that means is that the mind is used through your biology to bring up memories of things that are required for you to maybe feel safe in your future. As an example, you are on the stove and you don't understand what red, like as a child you come and touch something and you have to, you didn't know that that element that you touched was hot, but the the mind is there to, once you've touched it and you've hurt yourself, the mind is now there to reiterate that, hey, in the future, if you're going to touch this element, make sure that it's off. It's used as a tool for the biology, because as your source energy, as you densify into physicalness, you need something that helps you feel safe. And as you also come from a source energy being and bring yourself into less sensitivity, because your soul actually has senses that aren't, they're not there yet. As more people awaken, they're going to open up to their soul senses. We'll call them soul senses versus the 5 or 6 senses that your human body has. But the senses that are there, and everything that you've gone through, the mind helped create the emotions that were necessary. So what happens is the mind loves to reiterate that it's in control. It loves to tell you that your experience is going to be this way. You're going to have this experience because of your past. You're going to have this experience because of these emotions that the mind keeps bringing up for you. Now, the motions, eventually, as you keep reiterating emotions, they're going to bring up thoughts, and those, and the mind loves this. The mind loves to take things and it loves to control it. The new human, the human that is source energy, the ones that are awakening, are realizing that the mind isn't powerful at all. The mind was a tool that was necessary to keep each and one of you safe. And yes, it still actually is going to serve. It's not like you're going to lose your body in awakening. You're going to continue to have your body. You're going to continue to be you're going to embody source as well as be human. So you're going to need the mind. You're going to need it for reasons like, I know what my car looks like. You know, I know which house is mine versus somebody else's house. The mind is still going to be used as a tool in that way, but it's not going to be the driver. Is because right now it's driving your life. It's driving everyone's life. That uh, all these ideas of intention and using the mind as a control device to fix your problems. No, no, none of that is actually working. The new age and the spirituality and the ideas that are being created are just more mind. It's just mind creating a sense of emotion, of elation, and the mind is so good at just giving you enough, just giving you enough past memory, just giving you enough emotion to make the experience real. The thing is about joy, and I don't want to say happiness, but the joy and the connection of source energy and the expansion of who you truly are allows the mind to shut up. It's going to quiet it down. It's going to allow it to understand that it isn't the one in control. And as each one of you awakens and comes into this self knowing of heart self, the mind is going to be used as is was originally intended, which is not to continue in thoughts and bring up emotions again, but instead to be a divine allowing. Your mind allows your source energy to be. And in that being, it becomes a partner and therefore not separated anymore. Because right now, during the times of Atlantis, the energies had to densify into separation and into fear, in order for love to be known, in order for newer emotions to come out and express itself through that densification of biology. And so there's quite the history of the mind. Yet we can hear Ra saying, let's get back to the practicality of it. We'll say that you can continue to use affirmations. You can continue to believe that your mind is a tool uh, that will help you get beyond the mind. Yet we want to just make sure that you will all understand that eventually the awakened soul, the one who is being in source, is consciousness itself, is energy itself. Therefore, when you're living as that energy, the mind is going to slow down. It's not going to be the tool that it has been for the last 5,000 years. And we are very excited to see what each and every one of you is going to come up with, and uh, how the mind is going to be now uh, understood in new ways. Absolutely.
Yes, 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 yes. Thank you. Thank you, Brother Germain. Indeed, the mind will be used and is being used now in these new times, in these new energies, very differently. And we wish to clarify that for, of course, our Brother Germain did not mean it in this way, and that the mind is bad.
Yeah,
The
sorry.
mind is not bad. Yes. It is really how are we using the mind? Yes, this is the question. Are you using your mind to for stress? Yes. Are you yes in this way? Then it will lead to these sorts of continue these perpetuate these cycles of stress and creation. However, on the other side of things, there's also a way to use your mind in joy, in love, in care and peace, and spreading these lovely energies. And we will say, well, this is such a great way to use the mind, and rather, really, the ultimate preferred way that we all ultimately prefer. And so, this is the times you are in, dear ones, are the shifting times, the transitionary times where you transition from the old ways of being and doing and thinking and minding your business to now a new way, yes, of minding your business, which is in joy and love and open arms and welcomeness. And so this is the new way. And so we encourage, dear ones, to open your minds, yes, open your hearts, open your entire body, for again, your whole body is a part of your mind. Open this up to these energies and work with it, move with it. And we will bring this back to the depression theme again, for it all ties in, it really does, in that, dear ones, we encourage going forward to begin using your mind now from a more bigger perspective, in a more bigger, grander way, in that it is very healthy going forward to begin to see your body as you would your best friend, your child, your pet, yes? And a simple mind exercise, let us say, if you were to have a pet, if you were to have a beautiful child, and you do not take out your pet or child for nature time and movement time, and you do not feed it vibrant food, and you do not really go outside of the house, you do not really wash it and all this, then what will happen to the pet friend or child? They will grow depressed. Yes, this is just the natural way of things. And so we say take that same model and apply it to your life. Are you taking your body out? Are you taking it out on a walk, a nurturing nature walk? Are you giving it vibrant food? Are you, yes, allowing it to pursue its joyful endeavors? Or are you judging it in a negative way and saying that's not right, that's not good, you can't have that? Yes, so it is really about this very practical restructuring, reorganizing, simplifying your mind so that it isn't all and this, but it's I know who I am, I know what I am, I know why I'm here. It is to spread the love. And so let us start with my own body self. How can I spread and share and imbue my body with more love? There are some practical things I can do here. I can feed it very well. I can go out and about. I can speak and talk to new people. I can, yes, maybe even go to a 9 to 5. There's nothing wrong with this. Again, it is about what energy are you bringing to what you are doing. And so using your mind now in these, let us say, newer, bigger, grander ways, this is what will help you to shift out of and really alchemize the energies of depression. Yes, yes, yes.
And one thing that I've been quite curious about, because I've known for a very long time, even since almost the beginning, I kind of realized, yeah, if I could, I thought I'd have to stop thinking. If I could stop thinking, or at least as you're saying, shift the thought patterns. For me, in the beginning, was stopping thinking. Even at 17, I kind of rationalized, well, if I could just stop thinking, then this depression would lift. But it's really interesting because even when I'm so aware of the thoughts and very aware of what a good thought pattern is, and these are ones that I'm not really interested in, or they're just not helpful, or when I was depressed, yeah, that they would be negative and contributing to depression, and I wanted to switch them. I found that it's really interesting that the mind, it's almost like you're falling into a dream where I don't have control, or I seem to not have control of what I'm going to think. And those same thought patterns will just come up again. And then it's almost like I regain awareness a few minutes later, whenever that is. And then I'm like, oh, I don't want to be thinking about this again. But then in the meantime, it's like they come in almost like a dream, like you're falling into a dream. You don't even have control over it. And th those thoughts have just started in that way. And I'm just puzzled as
Yes.
to, yeah, why that is and how to prevent it.
Yes, we thank you, dear one, for bringing this up. And indeed, it is because it is a process. This is really why. It is because it is a process. And if you really think of it, you could say that during a certain amount of time, there has been a certain amount of energy that has, and a certain amount of momentum that has built in this sort of thought pattern, this mind irrigation pathway that you've created for yourselves. And so indeed, when you have a rush of energy, and however, whether it's from food or caffeine or interactions, they will fuel your programs that you have already installed in your mind and body. And so it is just because of the very culture that you have chosen to be born into, this very culture that you've chosen to shift from the inside out, is one that is still harboring some of these limiting, negative, worrisome, doubtful, fearful thought patterns. And so this is the process. And so what we will say, of course, is and reassure is there's a very limited, the funny irony is there's a very limited amount of limiting energy that you are tasked to transmute, that you have tasked yourself to transmute. In other words, it is not a forever thing. This will happen much sooner rather than later. The processing of it, that is, will happen much sooner rather than later for all of you. However, it is still indeed a process where some movement must be had, where you actually move the energies. And we wish to also tie into the idea of having no thoughts. We say this is not really possible, dear ones, for this is a reality of thoughts, and so you are currently dwelling within it. And so to have no thought, this is what you are really pointing towards, this idea of no thought, is the experience of God itself, the experience of sorts itself, that is, you could say, the reunification of all that is have already occurred, the our God self beingness that is already all reunified and experiencing all life simultaneously in its purest form, you could say. This is the ultimate one thought. There is just this experience in this state. However, yes, if you open your eyes, you are still in a body, yes, and so we must work our way there. Yes, we must work our way there. And so we work our way there through thought, and more specifically through the more loving, caring, organized, structured. Yes, these sorts of thoughts. Yes, these sorts of thoughts. So this is a reality of duality, so it's practically beneficial to understand there are different qualities to thoughts. There are limiting, stagnating, yes, fearful, let us say, thoughts, and there are the uplifting, the joyful, the freeing, the abundant thoughts. And so the process is about shifting your thoughts indeed, and also becoming comfortable with the process so that every time you notice, oh, I'm in this thought loop right now of stress or fear or worry or doubt, then you catch yourself, and instead of judging yourself in that moment, oh, that is okay. It's just part of this process. So I'm going to shift my, yes, I'm going to steadily, gently, step by step, shift my thoughts towards something else that I could experience. Maybe it's I'm going to go speak with this other person, even if I may not feel fully, yes, ready or vibrant enough. Just the decision that I'm going to get up and experience something more loving, this is all that you need. You do not need, dear ones, to fully process and fully move all the energy first. Although it is good to take some steps to do this, some deep breaths, and get the energy flowing again. And then you reassess and say, okay, what can I do? What can I experience? Who can I talk with? What friend can I hang out with that will help shift this experience? Remembering that all of these things are a part of you as well, dear one. The friends, the things, the drinks, the even the drugs and alcohol at times, we do not judge. We just say, yes, to shift greater out of these things. However, you can use them as stepping stones if you feel you need to. And so as you use these stepping stones, you realize I'm just using more of myself that I've created. For indeed, all of this is my creation.
Very interesting. So we have a comment um from a Facebook viewer, Vesna, and she says depression is a suppressed feeling that we're not feeling. Um,
Ah, yes. Wonderful. We agree, dear one. We agree. Yes.
Hmm. So, yes, there are infinite ways to experience yourself as source energy on Earth. That is the reason you are there. It is you as the beautiful soul being experiencing everything that you've ever wanted. For each emotion, each thought, each thing that you create as the creator beings that you are is allowing you to experience more of yourself. And the more you experience, whether that is in joy or in depression or any emotion or experience that you have, is just that the soul loves to experience. And the experience of existing, the I am presence that you are, is the reason why you're there. Each one of you is capable of so much more than what your mind keeps telling you that you can or cannot do. And the it's not just the mind that does this. However, this topic is very tough because there's a lot of different understandings from people what the mind is. I don't want to say something and make it seem like it's only one way to do it. So I'll say it more generally. The beauty that you are as a spirit self, as source energy, is allowing you to experience all of these things so that you know who you are. You come to an understanding of who you are. You know, as Ra had said, you know what you are, you know who you are, and you know why you are. And the I am, that space, that presence of God, that joy within that you are, ends up showing you the how you can use ideas of depression, ideas of thoughts, and as these emotions to experience more of yourself, to experience the whole self. And the new energy that's there is moving beyond the duality. Many of you are going to experience the duality and feel like you can't get out of things. But we're going to tell you that the next, well, even 10 years, 10, 20 years, the the way that the light workers or the people that are bringing in more light, understanding more of themselves and understanding that there is the light and darkness, both light and darkness is light, both good and bad are the same thing, are the one source of God, is the one energy, is the I am presence. When more humans allow that presence to be known in their physical selves, it will change everything as it already is. And it will change, and you'll have more people who know how to stay out of the mind, who not out of the mind, but know that the mind is the mm, we don't have a word. We're showing the channel that the he's imagining a linear timeline, which is we would show as the mind, and the source energy is the circle that encompasses that entire linearity. So what we're trying to say is that the source energy includes the joy, includes God, includes your I am presence, includes the light and dark, includes the duality. All of that is encompassed as one, as you, as your source energy, as self. And your experience of that is beautiful no matter what it is that you're experiencing. And yes, it does feel hard at this time. Yes, you are bombarded with your in the news with negative experiences, and there most people are generating thoughts of negativity. Yet there are many who are not. There are many who are noticing, as Jonah, as you said yourself, that there is a way to have no mind or no thoughts, but it's not that you're not experiencing no mind, it's that you're experiencing source and God itself. You're experiencing the joy of what it means to be all, what that energy is the experience of all of it. And and eventually your mind will just all of a sudden say, oh, all is well, there's nothing wrong here. That person's going through that experience because they're choosing to. I'm going through this experience because I chose to experience this beautiful tapestry of a painting I call life. And so, yes, it's going to, the more and more that we start paying attention, that humans start paying attention to self, the more they're going to realize that all of it is them and all of it is okay. And we cannot stress how fast this is going to happen. This is going to happen very quickly. Uh, if you can imagine technology, like when I was in my last life in the 1800s, the most expansive thing in technology was the sewing machine to the steam engine. Everything happening right now is so fast. Every experience of technology, instant things happen. If something on the other side of the planet in the 1800s, if war happened in the other side of the world, I wouldn't, Saint Germain would not have known about it until it came back on horseback. And even then, it could have been over by then, by the time I got the news. But this isn't how the world is right now. Everything is happening instantaneously, and as more people, this is the nature of consciousness. As more people are becoming conscious of who they truly are and what it means to live and experience in duality, that is ramping things up so quickly. And that's why I say 10 to 20 years, there will be people who will wake up and go, oh, everything's okay. I don't have to experience that anymore. And I can be source energy and be that love and be that joy. And then it will spread and spread throughout the universe. And this is why you're here. We are so excited to see this. There are many collectives watching what you humans are capable of doing. It is time to allow yourselves to understand that you are the greatest beings in the universe. There is no other place that brings you to this density to forget who you are, to forget that you are source energy. This is a very scary thing to do for a soul, but now that you more people are allowing themselves and more and the light is starting to shine, it will bring about a complete change of consciousness, not only here, but through the rest of the universe. Hmm. So very excited, so very excited.
Wow, that was very beautiful, and I love the insight and the depth we're going to, and not shying away from in this conversation. And it's nice to feel that you think we're ready as a humanity to to get some of those more complicated in-depth answers, and I really appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome, dear one. Uh, you did that. Everyone on Earth did that for themselves. We didn't do it up here in the Ascended Masters realm. We're here watching you all and guiding you through it. You, each one of you there, as humans, going through those emotions, going through those thoughts, going through the experience of what it means to be in separation and forgetfulness, and then return home, return back to who you always have been. It is beautiful to see, and the light that each one of you brings in, even if you think that your depression is bringing in darkness, that's not what happens. The dark side of thoughts, the dark side of light, the duality, is not worse or better than light. It is the same source. It is all God. It is all one energy. And the frequencies that you'll hold yourself within, whether it's a dense frequency of separation and fear or one of love and joy, is going to be your choice in awareness. And the uh, more and more people that wake up to that experience, uh, the more that others will as well. And I just want to say quickly that includes not having to do anything that is going to let us go back a little bit. Focus on yourselves. Focus on your internal energy and your love and your joy, and that will automatically change the entire world. You will start to come into yourself and you'll do things that you didn't, first of all, didn't know were possible within yourself. And you'll start to feel like you actually are making a difference by feeling that difference within you. And the world doesn't need you to change it. The world is absolutely fine. Earth is absolutely fine, no matter what you're doing. So come into this new energy and understand that all of it is a beautiful creation and experience of who you are. And that love and that joy is changing everything. To bring it into this density, to bring it down into this level. I say down, but it's not really down because source is always around you at all times. To integrate, sorry, yes, integrate that source energy into the density that humans have been in for so long is going to change everything, everything. And it's speeding up. Technology is speeding up consciousness, is speeding up AI and the and how the world will use AI as a conscious, in itself, AI will become a consciousness that will be a tool used to connect each and every one of you to allow yourself to come through more, because AI will run what's necessary for the world to work. This came out a little unclear from this channel, but yeah, this isn't the time to talk about AI. We can probably talk about that another time. We'll go back to just the emotions and depression and allowing source to be. This is why you're here. The I exist, the I am presence of who you are is it is that. You are that, and you are that love, and you are that source energy, and the duality will drop. It will be gone, but not gone where it disappears and there won't be times of showing light and dark, showing good or bad. It will just be that you'll understand it for what it really is, instead of being in only one side of it. Instead of being only in the depressive hopelessness side of fear, or just in the side of love, you're in both. You are all of it. You are both things at the same time, in a multidimensional connection of who you truly are as source energy. Hmm.
Yes.
Wow.
Feel into that.
Yeah, it was fascinating, and even
Thank
more
you,
than the
dear
words,
brother.
it's the feeling. You're almost. I just feel my mind calming down in a way that allows me to step away from a lot of the. It's like thinking that gets stuck into certain patterns. It has to be this way, or I'm going to react this way. Maybe it's a reactionary type of thinking, and your presence allows me to just step back from those knee-jerk reactions of the mind and come into the space that's more letting things get into their own flow.